Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into the electrifying world of electric vehicles, specifically looking at how tariffs are shaking things up and the incredible rise of a company you might be hearing more and more about, BYD.
Right.
You shared a fascinating collection of articles and reports, and our mission today is to distill what it all means for the future of EVs and maybe, even your next car purchase.
It's quite a confluence of a global trade strategies and a real power shift in automotive technology we're seeing right now. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Absolutely. So we have information on tariffs being imposed by major players,
Yeah.
the US, the EU, Canada, on imported EVs, especially those from China. We need to understand how these policies could affect the prices you see,
Yeah.
right? And the variety of models available.
Exactly.
The US, for example, has a significant tariff on Chinese EVs, something like well over 100% now, I think. And Canada has followed with their own measures. The EU's tariffs are more varied, depends on the manufacturer. So what's the core thinking behind these moves?
Well, essentially, these tariffs are designed to shield domestic EV manufacturers from international competition, particularly the rapid growth and, frankly, the cost effectiveness of Chinese EVs. It's really a move to bolster local industries.
Right, protectionism, basically.
Right in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, so with these tariffs in place, let's look at how a specific American manufacturer, Rivian, might be
Okay.
affected. They're focused on the premium EV market, right? And manufacture their vehicles here in the U.S. That sounds like a clear advantage.
It does seem that way initially, yeah, because they avoid those direct import tariffs in the US on their finished vehicles. But it's not quite that simple.
Oh, how so?
Well, Rivian still relies on a complex global supply chain for many of its components. The US tariffs on imported auto parts and materials could actually increase their production costs.
Ah, okay, so not just finished cars, but the bits and pieces too.
Exactly. Plus, they also sell in Canada, which has implemented, retaliatory tariffs on US goods in some cases, so it cuts both ways.
A bit of a
Mhm.
tricky situation then, not straightforward.
Definitely not.
Now let's switch gears and really zoom in on BYD, this Chinese automotive giant,
Ah.
making serious waves worldwide. Their increasing market share, innovative battery tech, and really competitive pricing are changing the landscape. This is where it gets really interesting.
It really is.
How do their strategies stack up against companies like Rivian, and what could their success mean for the future of EVs for, well, for you and everyone else?
What's remarkable about BYD is their incredible scale and what's known as vertical integration. Their ability to control basically everything from raw materials for batteries right through to the final assembly. It's pretty unique at this scale.
They do it all in-house.
A huge amount of it, yeah. They've actually become the top EV seller globally, surpassing Tesla, with millions of vehicles delivered last year. Their in-house battery production, particularly their Blade battery.
Ah, yes, the Blade battery. Heard a lot about that.
Right. It uses a unique cell-to-pack structure. It's supposed to be very safe and efficient. It gives them a significant cost advantage.
Right, so they're not just assembling cars, they're making a core expensive component, the battery, at a massive scale.
Yeah.
That clearly impacts their bottom line.
Hugely.
And we're seeing this translate to their global expansion, right?
Yeah.
Even with tariffs in some markets.
Exactly. Their competitive pricing, which is driven by this in-house tech and efficient manufacturing, is putting considerable pressure on automakers globally. And they offer a wide spectrum of vehicles, from very affordable options to more premium offerings, appealing to a broad range of buyers.
So let's tie this together. What does this all mean for you, the listener? Tariffs are creating a more intricate market, potentially leading to higher prices for some imported EVs, but also aiming, as you said, to support domestic manufacturers.
Yeah.
Rivian, concentrating on the North American premium segment with its U.S.-based production.
Yeah.
Well, they could see some benefit from tariffs on direct competitors, maybe, but also faces potential headwinds from tariffs on components and those retaliatory measures in Canada.
But the really compelling narrative, I think, is the rise of BYD. They've become this dominant force in the EV world through their focus on in-house battery innovation, like that Blade battery-efficient, large-scale manufacturing and a diverse portfolio, surpassing Tesla in global sales. That's a testament to their strategy.
It really is.
And their global expansion plans are quite ambitious.
It's fascinating, isn't it, to see how BYD's emphasis on affordability and volume contrasts so sharply with Rivian's more niche premium strategy. One is aiming for broad market appeal through value, while the other targets a specific higher-end consumer.
Very different approaches.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the tension between these protectionist trade measures and the increasing globalization of the EV market, largely propelled by companies like BYD. That's a key dynamic to observe, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it raises an important question for you to consider. Will these tariffs ultimately succeed in nurturing domestic EV industries in the long term? Or will the cost benefits and technological advancements of global players like BYD inevitably reshape the market, regardless of these trade barriers?
That's a crucial question to keep in mind. And maybe here's a final provocative thought for you. Imagine a future where maybe just a few major EV manufacturers, perhaps they circumvent tariffs through localized production in key markets, right? Hold a significant share of the global market. What implications would that have? For ongoing innovation, for the pricing of EVs, and the variety of choices available to you when you're looking for your next vehicle. Definitely something to think about.
Something to mull over, for sure. The landscape is shifting fast.